and welcome to This Is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. You can always talk to us at any time. And even if you want to be a partner with us and help us keep Jesus on the airwaves, just text in through the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and also through the SMS line 20316. And we'll be getting back to you in all the inquiries that you are having. Well, today we get to look at some of the stories that are making headline across our country and also across East Africa and across the globe as a whole. Well, join me as we discuss these stories today. And we start off with one story of education. Now, as the effects of COVID-19 pandemic highlight the importance of open, distance, and e-learning, what we call ODEL, in the delivery of higher education programs the world over, Kenya's university regulator has issued guidelines to help universities to ensure their programs meet quality threshold. The Commission for University Education has published guidelines which include a format of self-assessment report that will help institutions to report on the status of remote learning to their regulator. According to a document issued in August, CUE requires universities to make a full disclosure of their capacity and preparedness in delivering distant learning in programs targeted at virtual learning and foreign studies. This would aid the state body in accrediting not only courses but also learning centers as well. The shift, though, hasn't been easy because COVID-19 has greatly impacted on learning.
Initially, it was a little bit challenging because the students had not, the full-time students had not gotten used to the virtual teaching, but slowly they are able to assimilate the technology, and now quite a number, almost 80% of our students are fully on board online teaching.
So suddenly you have a situation where you have to be online, and you have never been. So there was that stage of learning, making mistakes, faculty getting into a class and they are locked out by students because they don't know how to manipulate technology. They don't know how to, they are not sufficiently prepared to engage students in a way, so the entire exercise becomes very webinar based.
As much as digital classes simulate some advantages, the fact is that we have missed the one-on-one interaction with our lecturers, with our fellow students and such.
I will miss being inside the campus, meeting people face to face, because it's also important to our mental health.
Learning institutions are communities, and because they are communities, there's a lot of experience we have gathered that by being on campus, there are many things that students learn from each other, and they do not necessarily need to refer to, let's say, ICT office or registrar's office, because they learn by themselves. Now suddenly, when you move online, you have to provide all this support.
All right, this is what the CUE is saying about learning. And you know, during this time of COVID, a lot of schools are closed. Actually, all the schools are closed, all the learning institutions. And that calls for university learners to actually do their classes through Zoom, and we also have primary and secondary schools. Some of them are doing their classes and even offering courses through online platforms. Well, what are some of the challenges that you have experienced when it comes to learning during this time of COVID? You could be a parent. What are the challenges that you have experienced with your child? And if you are a learner, from the higher learning institutions, just tell us the challenges that you have experienced, and that is the question that we are answering today. Send in your responses through the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and also through the SMS line 20316. Now let's look at the COVID-19 situation in our country. And today the country has recorded 212 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. And this is according to Health CAS Dr. Rashid Aman, who said the number is now at 34,705. Well, Nairobi continues to lead the daily positive rates, and today we've recorded in Nairobi 96 cases of COVID-19, and this is after a sample of 3,937 were tested, and that brings the total number of cumulative tests to 463,499. Well, speaking during the daily COVID-19 briefing today in Homa Bay County, Dr. Aman said edgewise, the youngest one is 1 month old infant, while the oldest is 76 years old infant. Now, unfortunately, today, a 76-year-old person, actually, I said 76-year-old infant, sorry for that. Well, unfortunately, 4 people have succumbed to the virus, and now the total number of fatalities is 581. But on a positive note, we have 195 patients that have recovered from the disease, and now we have over 20,000 people, and to be exact, 20,644 people that have recovered from COVID-19. All right, our condolences go out to the friends and families of the 4 that have lost their lives today due to COVID-19. And this is a call for action. We all need to still be vigilant because COVID-19 is still here with us. So take care of yourself. Now to the story that everyone is talking about today. The government has admitted that some donations critical in the fight against COVID-19 from Chinese billionaire, that is Jack Ma, did not arrive in our country. Now, speaking today during a meeting with the National Assembly Chief Health Committee, that is, Transport CAS Chris Obure disclosed that 21 packages of the assorted medical supplies did not reach Nairobi from Ethiopia. He, however, said his office is not aware of the specific content of that donation. The CAS said the ministry realized that 21 packages were missing after verifying with the package documents from China. Obure made it clear to the MPs that who had piled pressure on him to disclose the content of the missing supplies, that he was not aware of what they were and the monetary value of the same package. There have been allegations that some of the COVID-19 donations were either sold to private companies while others were actually delivered, claims that have been dismissed by the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe on Wednesday before the same committee.
But when that consignment arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, we received 21 packages less. So the 21 packages never arrived in Kenya. They never arrived at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. So that shortfall was in Ethiopia, not here. As I said, I just received confirmation from the top officials of the Ministry of Health. They are in contact. In fact, even the chair just read a letter from the ministry confirming that they're pursuing this matter with the people who consigned this from Addis Ababa. So we hope that this is not the end of the matter. We will eventually receive these 21 packages.
Point of order, Chair.
Chair.
Point of order, Chair.
What is out of order?
Point of order. What could be the worth value of those cartons you didn't receive? Oh, and what was inside?
Captain, what is it?
Okay, now we know the 21 missing is not from Kenya. But now we want to know, is it the airport or the airline or the ministry from Ethiopia? Because there must be a delivery note to the airline. When you transport, there must be a delivery note. Did the airline receive what we were supposed to get so that we can know the 21 pieces missed from the airline?
That is correct. Ethiopian Airlines did not deliver the 21 packages. And that's what is being pursued now.
Well, I still wonder why this was not disclosed earlier. And on the same note, Dave Ondieki saying our leaders wanatuangusha, wanaibia hata mtu amekufa. That's why people didn't take COVID-19 seriously. Wow. Steve from Gilgil, thank you so much for tuning in. And you're saying Gotea Peter na Martin Wagikomba, thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember the question that we are asking today. During this time of COVID, after learning was disrupted because of the pandemic, what is that challenge that you're facing? You could be a learner, you could be a parent. What are the challenges that you're facing when it comes to learning during this time of the pandemic? Send in your responses. Joseph from Kisarian, you're saying, praise God, Sarah, happy new month, by the way. We're already on the 3rd, but happy new month to you too, my friend. And you're saying, I hope the missing items will be sorted. I think the biggest challenge most parents are facing is balancing between their work and helping their kids study. It's also demanding to keep track of their understanding in terms of assignments. I like that. Thank you so much. This is my friend Magdalene. And Magdalene, you're saying challenges that we got at home are inadequacy of time because we have to help our parents at the same time. Oh, thank you so much, my friend. This is Vincent Mulinge, and you're saying the main challenge I faced with digital learning was to be told to share my phone with my kid during learning hours when we live more than 100 kilometers from each other. That's very unfortunate. I hope you sorted that out. Asante sana. Well, do not be left out. Tell us the challenges that you're facing when it comes to learning during this time of the pandemic. There is e-learning. Parents are now being forced to take care of their kids and even help them study. What are some of the challenges that you're facing during this time? Send in your responses and we'll be highlighting some of them. But for now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has told the global community that Kenya will lead Eastern Africa counter-terrorism efforts by working with the regional government and also their partners. At the same time, the president reiterated that Kenya will leverage on its membership in the UN Security Council to contribute more to global peace and the security of the globe. Now, President Kenyatta said COVID-19 is a catalyst to global insecurity by amplifying pre-existing security and contributing to socio-economic difficulties. President Kenyatta said the pandemic has slowed down global and regional crises and conflict resolution efforts, thereby escalating tension and negating peace-building gains made over the years. In the Horn of Africa, the president said COVID-19 has hastened potential to terrorist acts, that is, and worsening the refugee crisis that led to the proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
Coupled with the globalization of terrorism and violent extremism, has posed an even greater threat to international peace and security. Several countries continue to experience protracted armed conflict, including from activities by non-state armed groups, as well as a marked humanitarian crisis, often with a significant trans-border and global dimension, as well as facing the ever-present threats of terrorism. There has also emerged an even greater need to safeguard vulnerable populations from recruitment in the midst of shifts in food insecurity, unemployment, the cyber environment, and education. As countries focus intensely in combating the pandemic, it has become increasingly vital to espouse a broader security paradigm to ensure that the focus on the pandemic is not creating room and avenues that belligerent actors can exploit to further outrageous agendas.
All right, in other news, ODM party is now seeking the government protection for Migori MCAs who voted for the impeachment of Governor Okoth Obado on Tuesday. Speaking in Nairobi earlier today, party chairperson John Badi said that the party urges the government to ensure that there is security for Migori MCAs and protect them from any form of intimidation and blackmail. Badi noted that the party will publish names of Migori officials, including the MCAs and also the CEOs CECs with alleged involvement in the diverting of county funds to bribe the MCAs. This comes as 37 out of 41 ODM MCAs revolved to impeach Obado due to his existing corruption case. Obado was on Friday arraigned alongside his 4 children and 7 others to answer charges of graft and loss of 73.4 million Kenya shillings for the county funds. They were released on bail with a raft of strict terms, including being barred from his county office.
The governor was elected on ODM ticket, together with his deputy. The senator is ODM senator. The women rep is ODM women rep. Members of National Assembly, out of 8, 5 are ODM. Even the 6th is also affiliated to ODM. Only 2 members are not ODM. 41 out of 57 members of the county assembly are ODM. So in seeking to have the governor impeached, what ODM is doing is simply trying to ensure Migori residents get the services they deserve and which they pay for. He must be starved. Now I want to emphasize this. He must be starved of the sympathy he fervently seeks, because he's simply seeking sympathy by diverting attention from theft to politics. He has been accused of theft. He has been accused of stealing. In fact, I dare say that what is confronting Obado, it is very rare to see how many people can be confronted with the same. It is only Obado, I think, who can be accused of stealing and sharing with his children openly. It's only him who can be accused of murdering his girlfriend. Very few people can be accused of that.
All right, remember yesterday we talked about the issue of barring of governors who've been accused and are actually implicated in corruption cases. And we were asking if it's right for them to be barred from their office. And some of you were in agreement. Others were against the barring of governors from their offices unless a case is heard and determined up to the end. Pastor Kantai, thank you so much for tuning in from Lodwar. And you're saying, this is, by the way, you've been lost. I hope uko salama. And you're saying online learning is a big challenge, especially here in Turkana, where network is an issue, of course. It may work, but for a very small percentage. I like that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jared Odhiambo, I can see you saying, how are you? I just landed. What is the question for today? Well, Jared, tunauliza, what are the challenges that you're facing during this time of the pandemic and most of the people are taking up e-learning? What are some of the challenges that you're facing during this time? That's the question that we are answering today. Now, the leadership of the Senate has defended the House over reports of failure to approve the county allocation revenue bill has caused a cash crisis currently being experienced in the counties. Now, the bill was stagnated in the Senate after senators failed to agree on the revenue sharing formula among the counties. The bill split the national cake among the 47 counties. And addressing journalists in Parliament building today, Majority Chief Whip Irungu Kangata sought to absolve the Senate from the accusation. And Kangata cited a circular by the National Treasury agreeing to disburse to the counties up to 50% of the 316.5 billion shillings allocated to the developed and devolved units. Now, Kangata also cited regulation of the 134 of the PFM Act, which mandates the control of budget to authorize the release of funds in the event of delay in passing of the CARA.
To media reports that the current cash crunch in the counties has been caused by the stalemate that is currently before the Senate on revenue sharing formula. The truth is, it is not true. That has nothing to do with the cash crunch in the counties. We do have sufficient laws that would enable money to be released to the counties, at least 50%, pending the passage of County Allocation Revenue Act. I refer you to Regulation 134 of the Public Finance Management Act, which I would like to read, and it provides, 1, if the county allocation of revenue bill submitted to Parliament for a financial year has not been approved by Parliament or is not likely to be approved by Parliament, by the beginning of the financial year, the Control of Budget may authorize withdrawals of up to 50% from the Consolidated Fund based on the last County Allocation of Revenue Act approved by Parliament for the purposes of meeting expenditure of the county governments for the financial year. So meaning, as per that law, 50% of the monies owing to the counties as per last financial year approved budgets should have been released to the counties to be able to pay their employees, to be able to meet their recurrent expenditure and other key expenditure items.
Now let's head over to Northeastern, where the leaders from this region have warned politicians from the area against creating new informal settlements ahead of the 2022 general election. Now, speaking in Mandera town while inspecting progress of the National Hygiene Program, that is Kazim Tani, the Northeastern Regional Commander Nicodemus Ndelama said the politicians were drumming up vote supporters by creating informal settlements to woo voters. This, Ndelama said, has already led to interclan clashes between the Murule and the Gara communities last month.
Sitaki damu ya mtu mmoja wa kutoka hapa imwagike kwa sababu ya siasa. Mwenye atafanya hiyo damu imwagike awe nani ama nani, na nikisema hivyo I mean it, atashikwa. Kazi mtaani vile nimesema ni kazi ambayo imeanzishwa na rais wetu Uhuru Kenyatta. Ni kazi ambayo inalenga youth, na sababu yake ni kwa sababu ya maneno ya COVID-19. Mnajua a lot of areas of the economy zimekuwa affected and majority of the citizens are youth. So a number of youth wamekuwa affected na ililetwa kwa sababu ya kucushion the youth.
Well, this is very unfortunate when in settlements and just refugee camps are created because of elections and politicians who want to woo voters. That is very unfortunate. Anyway, on the question of the day, Caleb, you're saying that it has been so challenging. My brother, a senior Form 4 student, is now hustling like any other person. Indeed, it's very challenging. Remy Kipchirchir, asante sana for tuning in today. Also send in your responses. Now, the DCI detectives have arrested 2 conmen who are trying to extort a Kasipul Member of Parliament, Chams Ongodo. I hope I got that right. Now, the MP says that the 2 men, namely Victor Omari Onsare and Dennis Muturi, posed as detectives in their attempt to extort money from him. The 2 will now be arraigned in court tomorrow to face charges leveled against them.
Made a call through my phone. Then I gave the phone to one of them, Nyakundi, which he pronounced fine. We have reached and we have met him. As we started issues which I wanted them to raise, then the DCI officers whom we have tipped bumped into them and they were arrested. As we talk now, they are in the police custody at the Parliament DCI. I want thorough investigation because if you look at that letter, it has the logo of Directorate of DCI. But what made me to be suspicious in it, the language, the English which was used. We know how the DCI works. It even had a title of press release. So from the word go, I thought it was havoc. And this case, it is also an eye-opener to us members of Parliament, how we handle ourselves.
Well, this comes as 5 persons masquerading as Kenya Defence Forces, that is KDF, and National Intelligence Services officers were today nabbed by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation detectives. DCI has been on hot pursuit of the 5 suspects accused of terrorizing the public with their activities, mainly focused on the Nairobi Central Business District. The 5 were arrested in 2 separate cars at Timol area in Nairobi after being on their radar for quite some time. Amongst the items recovered during the search of the 2 vehicles included a pair of handcuffs, fake NIS and KDF identification cards, gate passes, and also walkie-talkies. Well, we need to be on the lookout for such cases. Well, on the question of the day that we are asking today, we would like to know what are some of the challenges that you have experienced during e-learning, during this pandemic. What are some of the challenges that you have experienced when it comes to learning? Some are having their classes online. Parents are now forced to help their children with studies. So talk to us and tell us, umepitia ugumu gani? Use the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and also through the SMS line 20316. Let's head over to Ember County, where the doctors in that county on Tuesday threatened to go on a strike over the poor working conditions. They issued a 7-day notice to Governor Martin Wambora's administration, which they accused of turning a blind eye to their problems. Led by Elvis Mwandiki, an Upper Eastern Secretary for the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, the more than 80 doctors said they have not received salaries for the last 2 months. The professionals also cited no payment of the COVID-19 allowances and said they faced eviction from their houses for not paying their house rent. The doctors lamented that they had not paid their house rents and landlords were threatening to evict them from their homes.
Kuna ile car loans na mortgage loans za madaktari at least ndio waweze kujenga kibanda ya kuishi na familia zao. Hakuna mortgages ama car loans zenye madaktari wamepatiwa, zote ni executive wamepatiwa.
Madaktari wametoa malalamishi mingi sana, na kwa sababu tumejaribu diplomacy, tumeongea na county watusikizi, tumeamua kutoa strike notice ya 7 days kutoka leo. Kwa hivyo after 7 days madaktari wote wa Ember County wataenda kazini.
Well, this is also the situation in Murang'a County.
As we speak right now, we do not have an anesthesiologist to man the ICU. We do not have a pathologist to man the mortuary, and we do not have an oncologist to man the cancer center that they have created. Now, as health workers in Murang'a, they are very demotivated because they come and offer specialized services and get paid as junior doctors. That is quite unacceptable for us. There is also a grave shortage of health workers. The doctor-patient ratio is 1 to 17,000, yet WHO recommends 1 to 1,000. We also have an issue with the infrastructure. We do not have critical infrastructure that is needed for patient care. These patients in Mashinani, they have no other option but the doctors that they have in their health facilities. And we feel like we have taken an oath to give the highest attainable standard of healthcare, and we are not able to do so. We are very frustrated, and we've been talking to the county for a long time now, and we feel like we have exhausted the diplomacy way, and now we are saying that if in the next 7 days they don't address our issues, we are going to issue a strike notice, and we will not go back until we get our promotion letters, redesignation letters, and we get the shortage addressed. Even as I say this, as they refuse to promote the healthcare workers who have worked in that county for so long, they are busy advertising the same posts at a higher job group. So our question is, what is the reason for such a discriminatory employment?
All right, there we have it. Now, women who previously engaged in the outlawed practice of female genital mutilation are calling upon the government to provide them with an alternative source of livelihood. Now, these women claim that they have reformed, but the decision by the government to declare the practice illegal has left them jobless. A section of the women who still practice FGM defended it and claimed that it prevents girls from the areas from engaging in teenage pregnancies, teenage sexual activities, and also also from engaging in prostitution. Now, women leaders have condemned and warned these groups, and the women were speaking in Tana River County at a dialogue between the community and the government, as well as the United Nations Population Fund and other stakeholders in line to end FGM campaign.
Tembea kwa kijiji yako. Kitana hata kama ni baraza. After today ndio tusiwashike na tusishike hata wamama na wazee ambao labda hawajajua hii sheria imefika wapi.
We want to change God's creation, which is not possible, which is not right. God is perfect and he has created you in a perfect shape.
All right, in other news, a section of tea farmers from Mount Kenya region want the Ministry of Agriculture to subject new tea regulations to public participation before the implementation of these rules. The farmers from Gutugi and Gathuthi tea factories say although reforms are necessary in the sector, they need proper explanation to them to avoid of unnecessary changes that may kill the industry, which is a lifeline to millions of farmers in that region.
Tuseme ukweli, katika Kenya ile cash crop zimerimeni zinaleta pesa mingi Kenya hii ni maua na majani ya chai. Hizo regulations Munya tafadhali asifanye vile sheria inatakikana, sio kuamka asubuhi atengeneze guidelines zake halafu aimpose kwa wakulima.
Factory yetu inatengeneza mabilioni ya pesa, na sisi kama wakulima tumeshangaa sana kusikia ati tunaweza wachiwa director wawili. Ndio tunauliza kama wakulima wanaweza fanya nini, ama waketi wafanye nini, wapitishe nini wakiwa director wawili.
Kitu cha kwanza mimi ningetaka kuongea ni kuhusu kupuguza madirectors. Madirectors sasa wakipuguza wao wawili, tunasikia kuna watatu atakuwa company secretary. Sasa company secretary si dianakti kama wakili. Sasa tunaona hapo kuna changamoto, kwa sababu sasa itakuwa majani yetu itakuwa na shida ya makesi.
Wakulima 8,000 hawafai kuwa ati wanaongelea tu na watu 20.
Kama serikali inataka kusikiliza wakulima 8,600 kwenda juu, wafanye ground, wakuja waulize mkulima wanataka namna gani. Sio watu 10, watu 5, watu 20 ati wanaandika barua wanasema KTDA inatakiwa ifanywe mabadiliko namna hii.
Hata tupea hizo makaratasi pia sisi hata tusome, ndio hata mkulima ule mdogo wako chini kabisa ajue ni nini ana sign.
Tukiitwa kwa tea factory tunaweza kwenda huko na kusema ule tunataka. Kwa hivyo tunaomba kama inawezekana waweze kuisimamisha, waje watueleze.
Wakulima wanasema hapo kuna changamoto, and they want a public participation for these reforms before they are implemented. Remy Kipchirchir, I know that some of the hard experiences that students may have experienced are lack of money to purchase bundles and missing out on social interactions with the rest of the students. Well, thank you so much for that. Pastor Kantai unasema niko mzima kabisa, nashukuru. I'm just tired of the Kenyan politics. If you don't support the system, you're in danger. May God give us right direction and a lot of justice all over. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have someone here who is saying the challenges I have experienced is lack of a laptop and a good phone to do my Zoom classes. Wow. Thank you so much for the feedback. And I know you're not alone. Many of the people are experiencing these challenges. And that is why we're still waiting on the Ministry of Education to tell us the way forward when it comes to the schools reopening and institutions.
This and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.